short and sweet on getting more sleep. Hi there, and welcome to Our Mind. I'm Dr Kassi Klein, and I'm so glad you could join me today. And I hope you feel as excited as I am about this topic. But if sleep is a sore point for you, I want to help you conquer this baby and make it your friend. This short and sweet lecture on sleep is going to give you 3 hot tips for better sleep, and a little taste of what Our Mind is all about. Let me start off by saying that sleep is not a sexy topic, as say the latest lifestyle trend, quickest fad diet, or exercise program. But it's this bizarre human thing that we do every damn day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's got to be something to the sleep thing, right? Well, there is. And in terms of making real changes to our minds and bodies, it is very arguably one of the most important tools for your health. But focusing on sleep, optimizing it these days, is so darn hard to do. There's so much FOMO, so much other stuff to do and prioritize, so much distraction, that getting to bed is often the very last thing on our minds. We know that sleep plays an important role in learning, memory, concentration, emotional stability and stress management, in maintaining a healthy hormonal balance, and in our immune function. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. All of these things can be affected when we aren't getting adequate, healthy sleep. We know how important it is for both our body as well as our minds. It affects things like our heart health, our muscle recovery, and our mental health, both now and in the long term. Firstly, a brief introduction to sleep. Sleep is divided into 3 stages. Light sleep, which is the initial stage just as you're falling asleep. Deep sleep, which is the restorative phase where all the good stuff happens. And REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, and that is the dreaming stage of sleep. Each of these stages has a sequence, and each plays an important role in keeping your mind and body well. In fact, most people think that the most important thing about sleep is how many hours of sleep you get per night. There is actually so much more to it, including the depth or quality of your sleep, the continuity of your sleep, that is, are you sleeping all the way through the night, and your regularity of sleep. Are you waking up and going to bed around the same time each night? Each of these sleep pillars can be disrupted. For example, despite what people believe, alcohol actually disrupts the continuity and quality of your sleep without you even being aware of it. Furthermore, getting 7 hours of interrupted sleep is actually worse than getting 5 hours of uninterrupted sleep. So each of these pillars of sleep health are vital. Let's talk about insomnia. Insomnia is defined as persistent difficulty falling asleep, called sleep onset insomnia, or difficulty in staying asleep, called sleep maintenance insomnia. It causes excessive worry and concern for your sleeping difficulties and can be really, really distressing. Insomnia is actually affecting 30% of the population right now, so if you're having trouble with sleep, you're certainly not alone. We've all been there at some stage in our lives. When you're sleep deprived, a part of our brain called the amygdala is overactive. This is the emotional center of the brain, and when this part of the brain is in overdrive, it leaves us feeling worried, on edge, and anxious. You also become more sensitive to physical and emotional pain. So what are the causes of insomnia? There are actually multiple causes, and the most common cause include stress, which makes up a whopping 60% of causes, as well as anxiety and depression. Most of us could put ourselves into one of these categories at some stage in our lives. There can be external, environmental causes for lack of sleep, such as too much light, too much noise, being too hot, being too cold. And there are also medical conditions that can cause insomnia, such as breathing problems like obstructive sleep apnea, thyroid or metabolic problems, medications, pain, restless legs, the list goes on. Another common thing is something we like to call social jet lag, which involves purging on sleep through the week and then binge sleeping over the weekend to make up for what you've lost, which can have absolutely awful effects for your circadian rhythm. Then we have more complex problems such as learned sleep deprivation and anticipatory anxiety, which we discuss more in depth, including management strategies in our extended lecture series. But this is short and sweet, so let's move on. Now to the most important part of the lecture: 3 hot tips to improve your sleep. But first and foremost, let's check in on the most important thing. That's you. How are you feeling? Maybe these 5 minutes are the only few minutes you're giving yourself today to reflect on how you're doing. Are you feeling overwhelmed, stressed, relieved, exhausted? I'd like you to straighten up your spine and just gently remind yourself that you are enough. A little bit of self-love goes a long way. And now, get ready to sponge up the good stuff. So firstly, if there is an underlying medical cause or significant mental illness contributing to your insomnia, this needs to be addressed by your doctor. However, here I can provide some basic tips on how to create some good sleep habits which could really make a significant impact on your overall well-being. Now, these are not state-of-the-art, mind-blowing ideas, but having these important baseline strategies in place before you move on to more intense management techniques is absolutely crucial to ensure consistent long-term results. In my extended lecture series, we discuss why prescription medications are not the recommended choice for long-term sleep problems and alternative options you could try. But let's focus on what you can start to implement today, right here, right now, to get better sleep. Tip number 1, sleep hygiene. No rocket science here, folks. Sleep hygiene is all about controlling the environment around you and allowing yourself time to wind down before bed. Turn down the lights, which can interfere with melatonin production. Turn down the noise or use earplugs to allow your mind to rest from the things that keep it stimulated. Distract yourself from the day's stresses. Have a bath. Read a book, listen to some relaxing music, easy. Now, avoid caffeine after 12 p.m. It can affect the amount of good quality, deep sleep you're getting, even if you're still able to fall asleep. And finally, you can try something called a tryptophan snack, cheese, turkey, a milky drink, which can help stimulate sleepiness. Tip number 2, control your temperature. Our body temperature also follows a natural circadian rhythm with our sleep and drops by 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 degrees Celsius every night. It helps you ease into your sleep cycle. If we're too hot, we may not only affect our ability to fall asleep, but also the quality and amount of deep sleep to be had. Ideally, you want your room to be at most 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, which is actually much colder than most people realize. Tip number 3, develop consistency and routine. That is, go to bed at the same time each night and wake up at the same time each morning. And this includes on the weekends. Having even a 2-hour time shift in your weekend sleep cycle can have significant impacts not only on your health, but also on your ability to maintain good sleep and reduce insomnia during the week. It'd be like flying to and from different countries every weekend, but without the holiday, so that's really lame. Regularity of sleep is absolutely vital, and if you fear judgment from those people who claim to be party animal, I don't need sleep warriors, try using this motto. Honey, I was born to be wild, but only till 9 p.m. Ain't nobody gonna argue with that. Alright, just for fun, here's a bonus tip. Let's focus on the most common cause of insomnia. That's stress. From waking up to our alarm clocks, checking our phones and being flooded by incoming emails and social media feeds, which is like getting a huge dose of anxiety and stress before we've even gotten out of bed. Then we have our first of many coffees of the day. Then we get into our cars and sit in traffic, which makes us feel all contracted. And then work, which carries its own stresses. See if you can identify an area of your life right now that is causing you significant stress, whether it's work, finances, relationships, feeling physically unfit, or not having enough energy to tackle your daily challenges. I may not be able to provide any concrete solutions to your current stresses, although that would be ideal. But there are ways that we can tackle this build-up of stress, which will help you get better sleep. One of the most powerful tools is to accomplish this via meditation. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Cassie, I simply don't have time for that voodoo stuff. Well, firstly, the evidence and science is backing this up, so you better get onto it. And secondly, you can look at it like this. You just have to spend 10 minutes a day meditating to make a difference. Many of us spend much more time than this scrolling through social media. In fact, on average, 2 hours and 22 minutes per day. If you can help your mind find a space of calm during the day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, it can improve your ability to manage your stresses and help you sleep. This could quite possibly be the most valuable 10 minutes of your entire day. Many people use meditation before sleep, such as relaxation therapy, but research shows that even meditating just 10 minutes in the morning allows you to fall asleep faster at night, wake up less often, sleep longer overall, and have improved sleep cycle. It's a useful tool to give us some empowerment over that 24/7 chaos going on in our minds. Now, these tips can really get you places if you're willing to really implement them. Oftentimes, we are so caught up in our lives and our stories that we feel like it's easier to provide excuses for not instigating change than actually putting our left foot forward to give it a go. In fact, we are so often afraid of failure. Like, what if I try it and it doesn't work? We want to 100% guarantee that it'll work before we've even tried, and it often leads us to not trying at all. The truth is, we never actually achieved anything great with this attitude. You need to give yourself the opportunity to give it your all and risk that failure in order to change and to grow. The deep end is never a comfortable place to be, and when things get scary, I like to remind myself, sometimes you just gotta risk it for the biscuit. Now, if what I've been talking about has really resonated with you, you feel it in your bones, like, hey, you know what, this science stuff is cool, but how do I specifically apply this to me? You can check out our extended lecture series on the Our Mind page, where we really tackle these issues head-on, in depth, with guidelines, action plans, and step-by-step tips to get you to a place of getting the sleep you so deserve. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share the love. Until then, I wish you health in mind and body. See you later, folks!